Hey Kings, welcome to Adekemi Talk About Kings. I am Adekemi Adegbe, son of King's God. Thank you so much for joining me today on this episode, and for everyone that have subscribed to this channel, thank you. And if you haven't, before we start today's discussion, I would like you to please just click the subscribe button now so that you get notifications anytime I post new videos on this channel. So today, we are going to continue on our series on lessons from the Villians in the Bible. The last episode, we learned from Haman, and if you haven't seen that video, please do yourself a favor and go and watch that video. I will link that in this video so that you can easily access that. So today, we are going to continue with another major villain in the Bible called Pharaoh. So Pharaoh is the title of the king of Egypt. We met about 3 pharaohs, one during the time of Joseph, another one during the time of Moses, another one was during the time God wanted the Israelites to come to the promised land. So today we are going to focus on that particular one that reigned during the time God wanted the children of Israel to come to the promised land. So this particular pharaoh, we're going to learn from him, from his behavior to God, to his people, and to the people of Israel. So let's get into this. I know we all know the story and we are familiar with who this Pharaoh is, the king of Egypt, very powerful. They have several gods, and Pharaoh is likened to a god himself. He is powerful. He knows and is capable of doing things. He knows who these gods are, and he really relies on them. And so when it comes to God, our own Almighty God, Pharaoh had no regard. He had no fear. He had no honor. He didn't care to know, and he didn't want to know. So in Exodus chapter 5, when Moses first came to meet Pharaoh to tell him, let my people go, I could imagine the conversation, right? That Moses had come to say, oh, the children of Israel, they have lived in this land for more than 400 years, and now it's time for them to return home. But as the king of this particular kingdom, we are giving you the honor so that we just want to tell you that we want to go and worship our Lord. And the man was like, who is the Lord? That statement struck me because there was no regard to who God is. He didn't even care to know. And the first thing he said was in verse 2, is that so? And who is this Lord? Why should I listen to him and let Israel go? I don't know the Lord, and I will not let Israel go. You know, it was like he already had this thing in mind, that he is a God in him. Like he is a God. He has so many gods in his kingdom. So who is this God you're talking about? He had no respect. He had no reverence for God. He had no honor for God. He didn't care to know who Moses was talking about. And the disrespect in his tone by itself meant that this king had pride in himself. You could see that he believed that there was no other Lord anywhere else apart from the gods of Egypt. As children of God, we should never have this kind of attitude towards God. Our God and Lord is mighty. There is none compared to him. There is none like him on earth. There is no man, there is nothing under the heaven or on earth that can ever compare to who our God is. And when Jesus, in the gospel, when Jesus was asked, what is the most important command that we should follow? He said, love the Lord your God. He said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with your mind. There is no other God that should be worshipped. There is no way you will say that living on earth, the way you see the land, the trees, water, the way the system of the world runs, that there is no God. Because how can the earth sustain itself without God? The time that God created the heavens and the earth, he set everything in motion. And that system has never failed since then. So learn that this behavior, this arrogance of Pharaoh should never be found in you. You should never say, who is God? Who is this God that I should listen to him? Because if you don't listen to God, this is what you're saying. If God has told you to do things, if you have heard from God, God has spoken to you, and you refuse to do it, this is what you are saying to God. That who is God? Who is the Lord that I should listen to him? That is what Pharaoh said. He said, who is this Lord that I should listen to him? I'm sure that if God was man, he would have struck Pharaoh dead right there and then from that statement. Like, who is this Lord that I should listen to him? He would have struck Pharaoh dead at that time. But because our God is merciful, he is good, he is just. That was why he made sure that Pharaoh knew who he was before the end of his life. So please, as children of God, as kings that you are, do not think that you can do your life by yourself. You can do life without knowing God. You need to know who the Lord is. It is important for you. There is no other purpose greater than knowing who God is, worshiping him, and listening to him. The second thing that I said we're going to learn from was his behavior to his own people. I know that you're thinking, oh, these people were slaves to the children of Egypt, and when they go, they're going to feel the impact. You should know that at the beginning, when Israel came to live in Egypt, these people were living as one community. It was when the Pharaoh, at the time of Joseph, died, that the second Pharaoh came in, and he didn't know who Joseph was. And he decided to enslave the people of Israel. As a king, we would have thought, oh, he was doing this for his own people. He wanted them to have, slaves and all. But his attitude, after Moses had come to say, let my people go, and he refused, and God decided to show him that, okay, I am God, and I want you to know that I am the God of the people of Israel. The first plague that happened to the people of Egypt was God turned the water, the river Nile, to blood. And water, they do everything that water, they bathe, they drink. That water was like the source of the livelihood of the people of Egypt. And when this water turned into blood, I will read to you what Pharaoh said and how you will know that what he was doing was not actually for his own people, but for himself. So in Exodus chapter 7, in verse 23, this is what Pharaoh did. He said, Pharaoh returned to his palace and put the whole thing out of his mind. So these people, this river had turned to blood. And what did the king do? He put his mind out of the thing. He just ignored it. He didn't care. If the people had water, if they had source of livelihood, they stopped. If they have something to even use, if they had any other resource that they can use, he didn't care. The Bible said he turned his mind out of it. So after this river turned to blood, that their king didn't care what had happened to them, these people had to live like that for 7 days. In fact, it was Moses that came back to meet Pharaoh at this time to come and tell him again that let my people go. He didn't care. He didn't call Moses back. He didn't even. His magician that turned water to blood, right? But why didn't he tell his magician to say, okay, let us turn this blood back to water? Let us try to find another source of livelihood for these people. Let us get another source of water for them. He didn't care. Know that you as a husband, as a father, you are a king in your home. You are a king in your house. So what is your attitude towards your wife and towards your children? Do you put them first, or do you just think about yourself? Are you greedy? What surprised me the most was after God killed all the firstborn child of Egypt, if this is what Pharaoh said to Moses. He said, take your flocks and herds as you said and be gone. Go, but bless me as you live. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. He said, but bless me as you live. This man, after everything that has happened to his kingdom, to the people that they have suffered, all the plagues, everybody is crying that they had lost a child. This man said, please, he said you can go. He said you can go, but bless me as you live. What about his people? What about the people that have lost their children? What about the people that have suffered this plague, this darkness, the frog, the insect, their plants, their animal, everything they have had gone, everything. This man just cared about himself. He said, bless me as you go. I hope you have not been like this Pharaoh that cared only for himself. You don't mind what is happening with your wife. You don't care what is happening to your children. You don't care what is happening to the ministry God has given you, to the business, to the people around you. The only thing you ever care about is yourself. The only person you ever pray for is yourself. Do you pray for your wife? Do you pray for your children? Have you told God to bless you? Have you told God to bless your children, your church, the people around you? See, when God wanted to bless Solomon, I know that we all say that, oh, God blessed him because he only asked for wisdom. The wisdom that Solomon asked for was for the people, for him to be able to rule the people God gave him. Let me read it to you. 1 Kings chapter 3, verse 8. When God asked Solomon, what do you want me to do for you? He said, and here I am in the midst of your own chosen people, a nation so great and numerous that cannot be counted. Give me an understanding heart so that I can govern your people well and know the difference between right and wrong. For who by himself is able to govern these great people of yours? Number one, Solomon acknowledged that these people were not his, and he needed wisdom to rule the people. That was why God blessed him. God said, because you have asked for wisdom, you have not asked for wealth and long life, or for me to kill your enemies, or for me to do this for you, for me to do that. He said, I will bless you. You all know how wise and how rich Solomon is. So you know how God blessed him. This was because his heart was for his people. You should have this kind of heart that when you want to ask God, when you want something, you are not thinking about yourself at that time. You are thinking about everything that God has given to you. God has given you a wife. He has given you your children. He has given you your own kingdom, your ministry, your job, your church, your community. You're supposed to look at how God can use you to bless others. How, some people, if you are gathered in a place and they ask them to pray that God should send them a helper, God should bless them, their voice will be very high. Immediately, you tell them, pray that you should be a giver. The tone of prayer comes down immediately. That prayer is like they are even mumbling. Some will even change the prayer. Bless the person that will give me so that I can give to others. When God wants you to be a giver, you should have a heart that is always after God. A heart that is genuine, that has compassion for people. Everything that God and Jesus ever did for us was because of the compassion they have for us. So be like Pharaoh, that is only thinking about himself. After everything that has happened to his people, that he didn't even care, he didn't even bother. He just said, God bless me. Why didn't he pray that God should bless and restore everything that God has taken away from his people? Because he knew that God could do that after everything that God had done. Because that was why he said God should bless him. So why didn't he pray for his own people? He didn't even pray for the people in his palace, not to talk of the people in his kingdom. And thirdly, the attitude of Pharaoh to the people of Israel, it was brutal. In fact, that was the way the Bible put it. In Exodus chapter 5, verse 23. Ever since I came to Pharaoh as your spokesman, he has been even more brutal to your people. This man, apart from the fact that he was mean, he was wicked, he was without compassion for even his own people. So you can imagine that kind of person for others. He He wanted Israel to remain in slavery forever. Because the first time Moses came to him and told him, we want to go and worship, he said, oh, it's because you guys don't have enough work to do. He told the slave masters, stop giving them materials for their work, but make sure that they are giving the same output as what they used to give. Please, where will slaves get materials for what they are doing? And they were supposed to even produce the same amount. Increase their suffering. That even the people themselves came to meet Moses. That please leave us alone. We don't even want to go. Let us remain in slavery. And after every plague, this man was thinking, no, I will not let these people go. They will remain slaves. He wanted them to remain slaves forever. This is it. If a man's desire is not God-centered, he will sin to get those desires accomplished. I will take that again. I said, if a man's desire is not God-centered, he will do anything, including sin, to get that desire accomplished. And that is what Pharaoh did. So what are your desires? Are you sure they are not your self-made, greed, selfish desires that you want to just accomplish? Are you sure you don't just want to get rich so that everybody that have not helped you, you want to show them that you have come, that you have money? Everybody that have driven past you, you want to show them you have a bigger car. You want to show people around you that you can get this thing and stay there. You want to become a boss so that you can be subordinate to you. There are some people that their desires are so wrong that they don't mind doing evil to get to those desires. And that is what the Bible says in James chapter 1 verse 14 to 15. Temptation comes from our own desires, which entices us and drags us away. These desires give birth to sinful actions. When sin is allowed to grow, it gives birth to death. So when you're saying, oh, I am tempted, this is temptation. The temptation is because of your greed. It's because of your own selfish desires. It's because your desires are not centered on God. What you want, why do you want it? The reason why God has not blessed some people is because he knows once he blesses you with that thing, you won't care about God anymore. You won't even care about the people he has given you for. You know the resources God is giving to us. It is not for us because it is his resources. He has given those resources to us so that we can give to others. But some people, their desire is focused on how they want to do this for themselves, how they want to get there, and how they can do anything they can kill to get it. You remember that David killed Uriah just to keep his wife Bathsheba. If your desires are not God-focused, if they are not God-focused, you will sin to get it. God can do anything for you as far as it is at the center of his will. As far as you are going to use them to glorify him. Because he's the one that said that, ask me for the nations and I will give them to you. And he has said, if your child asks you for fish, will you give them snake? If they ask you for egg, will you give them scorpion? He said, so if you, as evil as you are, as human beings, you know how to give your own children good things, how much more me? I will give you better things. I will give everything to you. But what is the reason behind what you want? Why do you want it? Do you want to keep some people enslaved with your money? Do you want to just... You remember the parable that Jesus said about the rich man that said, oh, I have all of this harvest now. My barn is even small. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to build a bigger barn and now stock it and then relax. And I will now tell my soul, relax and work no more. Enjoy everything. And that was the day God demanded the soul. Do you know why that happened? Because of that desire that selfish desire of his that said, oh, my soul, you can now sit down and enjoy everything. He didn't care about others. He didn't care about what other people, about other people around him, about if people had needs or not. He just said, oh, now I have more than enough, so my soul can relax. You can enjoy and have everything. And that was the day God demanded the soul from him. Let everything that you want, let everything give honor to God. Let your desires, your heart desires give honor to God. Because God already said it. He said, I know what you want. He said, seek first the kingdom of God and every other thing will be added unto you. So imagine, you don't even have to ask for these your desires. Seek God first. Make sure that, just like I said, the first commandment, which is the most important, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. Don't serve any other God. When you do this, every other thing will fall in place for you. You will realize that even what you ask God for, He wants to give you more than that. That's why He said in Jeremiah 29:11, I know the thoughts I have towards you. They are thought of good and not of evil. He has good plans. He already has a plan for your hand. So everything that you think that you need now, God even has more. He has greater plans in mind for you. So let's stop the attitude of not giving honor, not having the fear of God, and not loving our neighbors. Because that's just the whole summary of this is behavior to God and to his people and to the people of Israel is what Jesus has said. He said the second of this command is love your neighbor as yourself. So imagine if Pharaoh had loved his own people, if he had loved the people of Israel, then he wouldn't have to die. Because you remember what he did? He followed them. Even after he had released them, he followed them to his own death. So don't do that. Love God and love your neighbor as yourself. I pray as you do this, may your homes be filled with God's friendship and counsel. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so now. And God bless you. See you soon. Bye-bye.